This time we're going to talk about reducing rational expressions. So rational expressions are fraction, ratio. So if we look, we have ratio. Ratio means fraction, so we're looking at fractional expressions. And these fractional expressions will have x's and numbers in them. And we treat numbers when we're simplifying the same way we used to. And now we just have some x's built in. So let's look at our examples. In letter A, we look at I, and we have 45 over 60. And when we simplify that, it's like normal. So I can divide the top by 15 and the bottom by 15. So if I divide the top by 15, 15 goes into 45 3 times. If I divide 60 by 15, that goes in 4 times. And then on top I have x squared, and on bottom I have x, so I can cancel out one of the x's, and I end up with an x on top. So we have reduced it to 3x over 4. Looking at example II, what I need to do first, on the top I have subtraction. So we can't cancel out with subtraction. You can only cancel when it's multiplication. So the minus sign here in II means we can't just cross off anything from the top and bottom. What we need to do is take out something and make it multiplied together, and then we can cancel. So if you look at 5x squared and minus 100x, both of them can be divided by 5, and they both have an x. So we can take 5x out of the first, which means I just have x left. And I have minus, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. And I took the x out. So x minus 20 on top. And then on bottom I still have that 35x. And if you notice, these are multiplied together here. So with multiplication I can cancel. With subtraction I cannot. So if I looked at it, 5x times x is 5x squared, which is what we had over here. 5x times 20, 5 times 20 is 100, and we have the x, so that's what was here. Now, because they're multiplied, I can cancel a 5 out of the top and 5 out of the bottom, and on the bottom I have 7, and then the x's cancel, and I'm only left with x minus 20 on the top. So this is my reduced fraction. Let's look at letter B. If we're going to multiply two things together, like we said before, we can cancel. So I could cross cancel, or I could multiply all the way. So if I look at this, I can cancel out an x, and I can cancel an x from the top. That means I still have x squared on top. And if I look at 6 and 15, I can cancel out 3 from both. So if I cancel out 3 from 15, I get 5. And if I cancel out 3 out of 6, I get 2. So then on the top I have 2 times 4, which is 8. So there is my reduced fraction. For II, we know that division is really multiplication by the reciprocal. So if I take 2x to the 5th over 5y squared, I multiply by the reciprocal. So I flip over 20y and 6x to the 4th. And again, I can cross cancel if I want to, or I can just multiply across. So I can cancel out 5 from 20, and I get 4. I can cancel out a 2, and on the bottom I get a 3. So I have a fraction with 4 on top and 3 on bottom. And then if I look at the y's, I cancel out a y from the top and a y from the bottom. That means I have a y left on bottom. If I cancel out 4 x's on bottom and cancel that out from x, then I just have an x on top. So my answer is 4x over 3y. And that's letter II. Let's take a look at let's kind of clear this up a little bit. We're going to have to do a little math here. Okay, so let's look at letter III. We have 2x over 3 plus 5 over 2. And we know that adding fractions, you have to have a common denominator. So between 3 and 2, our common denominator is 6. So we multiply the bottom by 2. So I end up with 4x over 6. And then I multiply this side by 3. And I end up with 5 times 3 is 15 over 6. And then when I combine them together, my denominator is 6. But on the top, I don't have like terms. 4x and 15 are not the same. They're not like. So I end up with 4x plus 15 on top. And then that is my answer. I can't cancel out from the top and the bottom because 4 and 15 don't have a common theme. So that is my answer to addition. And then if we look at IV, we have x minus 2 over 4 minus x minus 5 over 2x. So my common denominator for this, if I look at 4 and 2, just the numbers, 4 is my common denominator, and then underneath the second fraction I have an x, so I need an x in both. So that means I have to multiply this side by x. I already have the 4, top and bottom. Notice that I put parentheses around x minus 2 since it's subtraction. They're assumed to be grouped together, so put the parentheses in there. And then on the bottom I have 2x, but I need 4x. So on the bottom of the other one I need times 2. And that means the top is also times 2. So if I multiply that out, x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. And then on the bottom I have 4x. And then be careful because there's a minus here and a 2. So negative 2 distributed to x is negative 2x. And then a negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10. So make sure this 2 and this negative both get distributed to the x and the 5. And then I can just combine like terms. So I have x squared minus 2x plus 10. So that would end up with, I'm going to write it over here, x squared minus 4x plus 10. All over 4x. And I can't cancel anything out because these are actually subtracted and added together. So that is IV. Go ahead and try number 3 and pause the video. For number 3, we see that we have a 3 on bottom and an x on bottom, which means they need a 3 and an x. So this side needs an x. And over here we have x plus 4. That needs a 3. So we have x times x and x times negative 2. We have x squared minus 2x. And then it's a positive 3 distributed. So we have 3 times x, 3 times 4. So we have plus 3x plus 3 times 4 is 12 all over 3x. And then if we simplify that, we get x squared. And then we combine the negative 2x and the 3x, and we get plus x and then plus 12 all over 3x. And that would be our answer. Go ahead and pause the video and try number 4. On number 4, we need a common denominator between 3x and 6. 3 and 6, we need a 6, and then on the second fraction, we don't have the x. So over here, we need times 2, and again, the top is in parentheses, and then on the other side, we need an x. So we have 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. X times negative 7x is negative 7x squared all over 6x. So that is our answer. Go ahead and pause the video and try number 5. For number 5, we can cross cancel because it's multiplication, so I can cancel out a 4 from top and bottom, and it leaves me with a 2 on the bottom. So in my fraction, I can't cancel out a 5. There's nothing on the bottom that cancels. So then I take 7 times 2 is 14. And then on the top I have 5. And then I look at my x's and y's. I can cancel out an x from the top and the bottom. That leaves me with 6 y's on the bottom, so x to the 6th. And then I can cancel out 3 x's from the bottom and 3 from the top. That leaves me with x squared. And that is my simplified fraction. Go ahead and pause and try number 6. For number 6, we want to take the reciprocal. So we have 15y to the 9th over 24x to the 8th times, because division becomes multiplication, we flip the second one, xy cubed over 5y5. And then these are multiplied so we can cancel. And I can cancel out a 5 and a 5 from the 15 and get 3. And with the 8, I can cancel out 8 and 8 from the 24 and get 3. And then I can look at 3 over 3 as 1, so the 3's cancel out. And then if I look at the x's, I have an x on top and an x to the 8th on the bottom, so the x cancels with x to the 8th, and I get x to the 7th on bottom. And then with the y's, since the y's are on top together, this y to the 9th and y to the 3rd, that becomes y to the 12th. So y to the 12th, so these two combine to get y to the 12th. And then I can cancel out 5 y's in the bottom, 5 y's in the top, and I get y to the 7th. So I have for my answer y to the 7th over x to the 7th.